Okay, good evening. I'd like to call the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for Tuesday, March 5th, 2019 to order. Will the city call the roll, please?
Ms. Defoe?
Here.
Mr. Bussell?
Here.
Mr. Rogers?
Here.
Mr. Wygum? Ms. Selesny? Madam Chairperson, you have a quorum to conduct business.
Okay, thank you. Are there any communications?
Not at this time.
Okay, then we will move into the public hearing. For those of you who haven't joined us previously, I'll give you a brief explanation of how we conduct business. We will call each case, the city will call each case by the case number. They'll read a brief synopsis of each case. We ask you as the appellant to step up to the podium, state your name and your address for the record. There's also a sign-in sheet if you would sign in at the podium as well. And then we ask you to give us a brief explanation of what you're looking for or what you're asking the board for and why. Then the city will read a findings of fact. We'll ask you to agree, or if there's anything you'd like to add, you have the opportunity to do that as well. We'll open it up to public hearing. If there's anybody else who wishes to speak on that case, they can speak at that time. And then we'll turn it over to the board to deliberate and make a decision, and then we'll move on to the next case. So I guess one thing I do need to note is that this is a 5-member board, and it's a quasi-judicial board, which I think means that you have to have a 3-member affirmative vote in order for your request to be granted. Since there's only 3 of us present today, that's technically a quorum, but all 3 of us have to be in agreement in order to hear your case, or in order to grant your waiver, I'm sorry. If you would not like to have us hear your case tonight and you'd like to wait for the next meeting where 4 or 5 of us would be present, that's certainly your opportunity, and you could state that when you step up to the podium. Okay, is that sufficient? Okay, great. So with that, we will start with the first case, please.
For ZBA case 1902, the appellant Anton Rosser, owner, is seeking the following waiver for a rehearing of Zoning Board of Appeals case 15-8 for the construction of a second garage. The property is located on the west side of Berg Road at 23405 Berg, between Runcus and 9 Mile Road at Sidwell parcel 2428-301-062, zoned R1 single family residential. This appeals to section 5.62 and 5.69, Article 5, Chapter 45 of the Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the zoning ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Is the appellant here? Hi there. You'll just step up to the microphone, state your name and address, please.
Anton Rosser, 23405 Berg Road.
Okay, thank you. Could you give us a brief explanation of what you're asking for and why?
I have 2 odor sheds in the rear of my property. I want to remove those actually after, if I'm approved, after I rebuild, because I have 1 car stored in the one to have more room to build a second garage.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Will the city read the findings of fact?
Yes, for ZBA case 1902, the appellant Anton Rosser, owner, is seeking the following waiver for a rehearing of Zoning Board of Appeals case 1508 for the construction of a second garage. Property is located on the west side of Berg Road at 23405 Berg, between Runcus and 9 Mile Road, Sidwell parcel 2428-301-062, zoned R1 single family residential. The properties to the north, west, and south are zoned R1 single family residential. The properties to the east are zoned RE single family residential, and the properties are developed with single family homes and vacant lots. The appellant's parcel has an area of 17,203 square feet, allowing lot coverage of 4,300 square feet, or 25%. The dwelling, attached garage, and proposed second garage would cover 19.1% of the lot, or 3,284 square feet. Current side, front, and rear yard setbacks are in compliance with the zoning ordinance. The dwelling is located approximately 100 feet back from Berg Road. The proposed second garage would be located approximately 200 feet northwest of the corner of the principal dwelling. Field inspections of the property and surrounding area indicate the appellant's lot is heavily wooded and the proposed garage would not be clearly visible from the road. The surrounding properties are also heavily wooded. The proposed location of the detached garage will be replacing 2 dilapidated sheds that are to be demolished and removed. The appellant is proposing to construct a second private detached garage 30 feet in width and 40 feet in length, with an overall height of 15 feet and a total gross floor area of 1,728 square feet for all accessory structures, and that includes the attached garage and the proposed second garage. This proposal exceeds the principal residence by 172 square feet. The zoning ordinance permits a maximum of 1 private garage for each residential lot. The total gross floor area of all accessory structures shall not exceed the smaller of either 10% of the land area or the gross area of the first story or ground floor of the principal dwelling, which is 1,556 square feet. The appellant was granted waivers in ZBA case 1508 for a second garage, 172 square feet of additional accessory structure area, and an additional 6 inches of height. The appellant failed to obtain a building permit within the 18-month period, and the waivers became null and void. This new appeal only requires 2 waivers instead of the original 3, as the appellant's accessory building will not exceed the height requirement of 15 feet for accessory structures.
Okay, thank you. Do you agree with those facts?
Yes, I do.
Okay, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, that pretty much covers it.
Okay, sounds good. Will the city read the recommendation, please?
Staff's recommendation is for favorable consideration from the board for the 172 square feet of additional accessory structure area and a second private garage, and to rescind in its entirety ZBA case 1508 with the following conditions. The accessory building shall not be used to conduct any commercial business. There shall be no more than 1 commercial vehicle housed in the accessory structures combined, and no vehicles, boats, or trailers over 20 feet in length stored anywhere on the property. A building permit shall be obtained before commencement of work, and a full foundation be provided as required by the building code. This recommendation is based on the following. Field inspections of the property and surrounding area indicate that the appellant's lot is heavily wooded and the proposed garage would not be clearly visible from the road. The surrounding properties are also heavily wooded. The placement of the detached garage meets all provisions of the zoning ordinance with respect to required front, rear, and side yard setbacks. The dwelling, attached garage, and proposed second garage would cover 19.1% of the lot, or 3,284 square feet, with a total lot coverage of 5.9% below what is allowed. Current side, front, and rear yard setbacks are in compliance with the zoning ordinance, and this approval should not have a detrimental effect upon neighboring properties, as the new structure will be replacing 2 existing dilapidated sheds.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add? If not, we'll open the public hearing. You good?
Nope.
Okay, perfect. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this case? Step forward. If not, we'll close public comment and we'll open it up to the board. Mr. Rogers?
I don't have a problem with placing another garage in that rear yard. If you drive up and down Berg Road, the property is basically very wooded in the back and very privatized. In the summertime, you probably never see the structure, and in the winter, you'll see it a little bit, but it looks like a modular structure that he's going to be building, and the access is very good. So I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Russell?
Just a question. Is this the same garage that you wish to build in 2008?
Yes, sir.
Same design?
I'm sorry. The only difference is I might go with a steel structure now opposed to a wooden post frame type structure, just because of I guess most contractors that I call to come build it, they don't want to come down that far to build it. So.
But what you have in this picture here, this is what it would look like?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The only changes might be, I might put 3 doors opposed to just 2,
Okay.
but overall, it'll be the same.
And then another question I had was for the city. You said there were 2 waivers. Was the first waiver that it would be a second garage, and then the second waiver was the square footage of the?
Yes, if I might, through the chair to Mr. Bussell, that's correct. Those
Okay.
are the only 2 waivers. The previous one had an additional waiver for height, but since he's lowered the building, or the accessory structure height, it's not necessary.
Okay, that's all I had.
So my only question is, I would assume he has another 18 months?
You are,
Is
if
that
I
what
might,
that-
through
So
the
if we
chair.
grant the waiver, you'd have 18 months. Do you think you can get it done
Yes.
this time within that timeframe?
And initially, when I applied, I didn't know it was only good for that amount of time.
Okay,
Otherwise, I would have waited, because I wasn't ready, but I wanted to get approved.
okay,
So when I did have the funds together to do it, I would have been able to do it.
okay. So, but you're ready to go now?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. I agree with the comments of both my colleagues, especially what Mr. Rogers identified as, you have a very unique lot that nobody will really probably even ever notice it's there, except for
Yeah.
you. So with that, Mr. Rogers, will you make a motion, please?
Sure, regarding ZBA case 19-02, the appellant Anton Rosser, the owner, is seeking a waiver. It's a rehearing of Zoning Board of Appeals case 15-08 for the construction of a second garage. The property is located on the west side of Berg Road, 23405 Berg Road, between Runckus and 9 Mile Road. I make a motion for favorable consideration for this new second private garage under the
I
following.
think we need the square footage.
If I
And
might,
to
through the
rescind,
chair,
yeah.
can't be for favorable consideration.
are
You would have to
granting
move
motion.
to
We are
grant
grant-
this waiver.
Yeah, to grant the variance.
We are I'm making a motion to grant this variance for the second garage structure and for the additional 172 square feet that's required for an additional accessory structure with the following conditions. 1, the accessory buildings shall not be used to conduct any commercial business. 2, there shall be no more than 1 commercial vehicle housed in the accessory structures combined, and no vehicles, boats, or trailers over 20 feet in length stored anywhere on the property. 3, a building permit shall be obtained before commencement of work, and a full foundation be provided as required by the building code. This recommendation is being based on the following. 1, the field inspections of the property and surrounding area indicated that the appellant's lot is heavily wooded, and the proposed garage would not be clearly visible from the road. The surrounding properties are also heavily wooded. Also, the placement of the detached garage meets all the provisions of the zoning ordinance with respect to the required front, rear, and side yard setbacks. Also, the dwelling attached garage in the proposed second garage would cover 19.1% of the lot, or 33,284 square feet, with a total lot coverage of 5.9% below what is allowed. The current side, front, and rear yard setbacks are in compliance with the zoning ordinance. Lastly, this approval shall not have a detrimental effect upon the neighboring properties, as the new structure will be replacing 2 existing dilapidated sheds.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Will the city call the next case, please?
For ZBA case 1903, the appellant Joe Lawson of Consumers Energy, representing the owner, 25900 West 8 Mile LLC, is requesting the following from the board: for a temporary use approval for storage and staging of utility equipment and materials for a period of 1 year. Property is located at the northwest corner of 8 Mile and Beach Roads at 25900 West 8 Mile Road, Sidwell parcel 2431-479003, Zone B3 General Business and R1 Single Family Residential. This appeal is to Section 5.198, Paragraph 2, and Paragraph 3, Article 23, Chapter 45 of the Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the zoning ordinance.
Thank you. Hi, good evening.
Madam Chair, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Good.
I appreciate you having us. Joe Lawson, Consumers Energy, 1 Energy Plaza, Jackson, Michigan, 49201. We're obviously here this evening requesting a temporary use of the property that was described in the brief. basically requesting to utilize this property for future utility projects that are in the general vicinity. Consumers Energy has a program where obviously we go through and replace a number of old infrastructure that needs to be replaced, obviously, and we need these staging sites basically to store materials, equipment, and give employees a place to park during the daytime hours when the crews are out on the job replacing the pipes in this particular area. As mentioned, the area that we're requesting is basically an outdoor storage yard now for traffic management. We're requesting the ability to utilize an abandoned drive approach off a beach. And obviously, through the staff report, we know that there are conditions, one of which, only one, that I would ask consideration or reconsideration of, and that's the internal dividing fence between what we're asking to use versus traffic management. The ordinance requires that that fence be black coated or black vinyl coated chain link. With it being an interior fence and a temporary fence, we're asking if it would be possible just to utilize a typical galvanized chain link fence as opposed to a black vinyl coated. That pretty much sums it up. Obviously, if there's any questions.
Okay. Will the city read the findings of fact, please?
For ZBA case 19-03, the appellant Joe Lawson of Consumers Energy, representing the owner 25900 West 8 Mile LLC, is requesting the following from the board. For temporary use approval for storage and staging of utility equipment and materials for a period of 1 year. The property is located at the northwest corner of 8 Mile and Beach Roads at 25900 West 8 Mile Road, Sidwell parcel 2431479-003, zoned B3 general business and R1 single family residential. The subject property is developed with traffic management. The properties to the north are zoned RE single family residential and are undeveloped properties fronting Shiawassee Road and 2 homes fronting Rouge Court. The properties to the south across 8 Mile Road, located within Redford Township, are zoned light industrial and are developed with a BP gasoline station and PF Markey Incorporated. The property to the east across Beach Road is zoned NS Neighborhood Shopping and is developed with the United Center Shopping Plaza. The properties to the west are zoned I-1 Industrial, P Vehicular Parking, and R2 Single Family Residential, and are developed with the Action Impact Gun Range and single-family homes fronting Waketon Street respectively. The total site contains 11.19 acres of land with 445 feet of frontage on 8 Mile Road and a depth of 768.31 feet along Beach Road. The proposed site plan indicates the installation of a 235-foot by 440-foot, or 2.37 acre, temporary yard for outside storage and staging of utility equipment and materials needed for ongoing utility maintenance and replacement in the area for Consumers Energy. Fencing will be installed to delineate and secure the area and will be removed after the conclusion of the temporary use. Items included for storage include a project trailer and generator, Consumers Energy pickup and job trucks, dump trucks, loader, skid steer, excavators, backhoes, boring equipment and welding rigs, equipment storage trailer, dumpster, sand, stone, backfill and topsoil, pipe fittings and porta potties. Work hours and usage will be from 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 7 o'clock a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on Saturdays. The site will be manned with security during all non-working hours and on weekends and holidays. All inbound and outbound traffic will utilize an existing driveway located at the north end of the site off Beach Road as indicated on the plan.
Okay, thank you. Do you agree with those facts?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to add at this point?
No. We're all
Okay.
set, thank you.
All right, will the city read the recommendation, please?
Staff's recommendation is to approve with the following conditions. This temporary use approval is good for 1 year from today's date. If the appellant wishes to obtain an additional 1-year approval, 2 years total possible maximum, they must appear back before the board prior to March 5th, 2020. The staging area may not extend beyond the limits as indicated on the proposed site plan. The sidewalk spanning the driveway must be reinforced to the same depth as the existing driveway, and score lines must be matched with the existing sidewalk. The site must be restored to its prior condition after conclusion of the staging area usage, including repair of the sidewalk spanning the existing driveway if needed, and replacement of trees along Beach Road requiring removal to gain access to the site. The gravel drive approach shall be removed and restored with topsoil, seed, and mulch. The fencing must be black vinyl coated, 6 feet in height with matching gate in accordance with our fence ordinance, and must be removed by Consumers Energy after the conclusion of the staging area usage. A placard readable from the exterior of the fenced-in area must be installed on the fence indicating the name and phone number of a contact responsible for access to the site if needed. Work areas and usage are limited to 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, and 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on Saturdays. The required gate must remain secured on off hours, and the appellant is to contact the fire department to determine requirements regarding fire department required access. All site lighting shall be shielded properly and directed downwards as to minimize adverse effects on surrounding properties. All inbound and outbound Consumers Energy traffic must utilize the existing driveway on the north side of the site as indicated on the site plan. And if any complaints are made or issues arise from activity at the site, the appellant will be required to appear back before this board to discuss how the issues will be mitigated. This recommendation is based upon the following. The proposed temporary use will not adversely affect the character of the area and will not be injurious to the surrounding neighborhood nor contrary to the spirit and purpose of the zoning ordinance. And the proposed site improvements will provide adequate protection to abutting uses, especially since there are substantial buffers over 100 feet between the proposed staging area and residential properties to the west and north, and because of the safeguards and conditions that the city is requiring as part of this case.
Okay, thank you. Anything else you'd like to add right now?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we'll open it up to public comment. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this case? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment and open it up to the board. Mr. Bussell?
Yeah, on your layout, it shows the fence in red, but the only new fence is going to be this section right here, correct?
Correct, the going east and west, yes.
This
sir.
is all existing fence line right here.
Correct.
What is the price difference between going with the black vinyl and the galvanized that you're requesting that?
I'm not sure, I just know that it's surrounding fence.
Yeah, you'll need to step up and state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, hi, my name's William Ruff. I am an employee of Consumers Energy out of the Wixom headquarters. Do you need that address?
So, an address.
4844 Product Drive.
Thank you.
The existing fence has been up for a very long time, and it is galvanized. The gates that are already existing there are galvanized, and we're just going to be running a temporary, if you see that interior line there, to separate the yard from where we're going to be and where the people that are occupying it now. I mean, we'll do whatever you want us to do. I just, as Joe said, it really doesn't seem like it makes much sense because I don't think it has any appeal to the public when it's inside an already fenced-in area. That's all I would comment. I don't know if you have any other questions about that.
What's the likelihood of how long you'll need that fence there? More than a year?
Well, our lease is a year, and we got to come up. We did sign a 2-year lease pending on this meeting today with the current occupant.
Okay,
So it would be 2 years, I guess.
okay, that's your.
Yeah, and I did add, you know, after coming down and talking, I did put another gate in that temporary fence for the fire department in case they needed it. You know, we had a second gate, so I did have that added. But if that's not necessary, I could remove that, or if you still want that, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay, that's all I
Okay.
have.
Mr. Rogers?
I mean, it's pretty straightforward to me. Regarding the fence, I mean, Mr. Bussel's question is, he's probably thinking the longer that fence is up, then the more likely it would be probably corrode, and maybe it would be a better idea to put the black vinyl up there. But given the fact that you're probably going to complete this project within a year or two, I don't think that having a chain link fence as a temporary setup is a big deal. In regards to everything else, I mean, you're being bound by working on this occupant's lot, and all the parameters and the fencing and taking the bushes down and replacing them and all that stuff, so, you know, that's between you and them as far as I'm concerned, but everything else looks fine to me.
Well, one of our company slogans for the work that we do in our EIRP group is that we leave it better than we found it. So when we go in there, when we leave the site, it will be left better than when we came.
Okay. Any other questions?
Oh, that's
No,
it,
that's
thank
it.
you.
Okay. I was just curious, are you using these temporary sites anywhere else in the state? Does the hours of, and our other conditions, no concerns around those?
No, it's just the hours of what our employees work.
Okay.
And typically, the employees aren't going to be in this area in the morning. They're going to come and park there.
Okay.
Most of the equipment, I know there was a lot of equipment, that most of that's out on the project itself that we're working on.
Okay.
So they maybe have some pickup trucks and some smaller utility vehicles that they drive out to the site.
Okay.
And then they return at the end of the day. And, you know, we're doing a steel project here, so we're gonna have some steel pipe that'll be stored on the site, and they come in a couple times a day and maybe get a load or two of that pipe and bring it out to the site. There's really not a lot of traffic gonna be coming in and out.
Okay.
Do you have any aggregate materials that are stored there?
Yeah, we do. We'll generally store some stone, like some 6A or 21 AA, for any sidewalks that we may remove or concrete we removed on the site, and we bring it out and, you know, temporarily use that for putting down to keep it safe for the public.
What kind of pile is typically stored there? Is it like a 100-yard pile of 6A stone, or?
Oh, no.
So it's just
You're
a
going to
small-
probably maybe have 30 yards
Okay.
at a time stored there.
I was just suggesting if it was going to be a big pile, and maybe change my viewpoint on the fence, the screenage and stuff like that.
Okay.
Being an eyesore.
Okay. Sarah, any thoughts on, since it's an interior fence and the condition? I mean, your condition is there because that's what's in the ordinance, but it's in the ordinance for aesthetic purposes?
If I might,
generally?
to the chair, yes, it's part of the ordinance, and I know that the city planner did have a meeting regarding this with Consumers Energy and asked for that type of fencing, and then I believe also the appearance of it is such that it blends in a little bit better. That black vinyl coat is not necessarily as kind of a, you know, obtrusive as the galvanized, but obviously it'll be up to the board what they would prefer.
Okay. So, Mr. Bussell, what are you thinking on fencing material, or do you just want to make a motion?
I'm ambivalent about it, to be honest.
Okay.
Since it is temporary, and we're looking at 2 years, and galvanized fencing is going to hold up for more than 2 years. However, if it goes longer than 2 years, you know, then that's my only concern. If this extends past 2 years and goes on
Okay.
indefinitely with renewals,
If-
that was my concern. But if it's just going to be 2 years, and
You know what, we'll just put up the black vinyl fence that way that, you know, it doesn't put you in jeopardy of what the ordinance is. And it's not gonna be the cost difference. I mean, it might be a couple $1,000s, but it's not life or death for us, so.
that solves that.
Okay. All right, Mr. Bussell,
Okay.
make a motion, plece?
Yes, in the fact of ZBA case 19-03, the appellant Joe Lawson of Consumers Energy representing the owner, 25900 West 8 Mile LLC, is requesting the following from the board: temporary use approval for storage and staging of utility equipment and materials for a period of 1 year. The property is located at the southwest corner of 8 Mile and Beach Roads at 25900 West 8 Mile Road, Sidwell parcel 2431-479-003, Zone B3 General Business and R1 Single Family Residential. I make a motion that we approve the waiver based on the following recommendations. That this temporary use approval is good for 1 year from today's date. If the appellant wishes to obtain an additional 1-year approval, 2 years total possible maximum. They must appear back before the board prior to March 5th, 2020. The staging area may not extend beyond limits as indicated on the proposed site plan. The sidewalk spanning the driveway must be reinforced to the same depth as the existing driveway, and score lines must be matched with the existing sidewalk. The site must be restored to its prior condition after conclusion of the staging area usage, including repair of the sidewalk spanning the existing driveway if needed, and replacement of the trees along Beach Road requiring removal to gain access to the site. The gravel drive approach shall be removed and restored with topsoil, seed, and mulch. The fencing must be black vinyl coated, 6 foot in height with matching gate in accordance with our fence ordinance, and must be removed by Consumers Energy after the conclusion of the staging area usage. A placard readable from the exterior of the fenced-in area must be installed on the fence indicating the name and the phone number of a contact responsible for access to the site if needed. Works areas and usage are limited to 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on Saturdays. The required gate must remain secured on off hours, and the appellant is to contact the fire department to determine requirements regarding fire department required access. All site lighting shall be shielded properly and directed downwards as to minimize adverse effect on surrounding properties. All inbound and outbound Consumers Energy traffic must utilize the existing driveway on the north side of the site as indicated on the site plan. That is the northeast, right?
Yeah,
Corner?
yes.
If any complaints are made or issues arise from activity at the site, the appellant will be required to appear back before this board to discuss how the issues will be mitigated. The recommendation, this waiver is being granted based upon the following. The proposed temporary use will not adversely affect the character of the area and will not be injurious to the surrounding neighborhood, nor contrary to the spirit and purpose of the zoning ordinance. The proposed site improvements will provide adequate protection to abutting uses, especially since there are substantial buffers over 100 feet between the proposed staging areas and residential properties to the west and north, and because of safeguards and conditions that the city is requiring as part of this case.
All right, thank you. Can I have a second?
Aye.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, thank you. Good luck. All right, well, city call the next case, please.
For ZBA Case 1904, the appellant Aiden Calabat of InStream PM, owner, is requesting the following from the board: a waiver of 1.5 feet of building height for a proposed townhome development, 25 feet permitted, 26.5 feet proposed, and a .26 acre variance of land area to meet density requirements for a proposed townhome development, 5.14 acres required, 4.88 acres provided. The property is located on the northeast corner of Lasser Road and Duns Scotus Street. Sidwell parcels 2427302, 040, 041, 043, and 044. Zoned R1, single-family residential, and RT, attached single-family residential. This appeal is to Section 5.193, Article 22, Chapter 45 of the Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the zoning ordinance.
All right, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Can you give us your name and address, please?
My name is Chamat Gunasekar. I'm from Calabat Engineering, 31333 Southfield Road, Suite 250, Beverly Hills, Michigan, 48025.
Okay, thank you. And a brief explanation of what you're asking for and why.
Okay, so we are requesting a variance for the height of the proposed houses. I believe that most of the modern houses have a roof pitch of 612 or greater, and because of the depth of the house that are being built right now, the allowable maximum height that is in the ordinance is not adequate for us to meet all of these requirements, and we would need a high-pitched roof due to several reasons. Maybe one of the reasons is better aesthetics, and the other reason would be it increases the longevity of the shingles, and structure-wise, you have more vertical force on the walls than lateral forces when you have a high-pitched roof. And also, most of the townships, like the Bloomfield Township, the Orion Township, and Farmington Hills, they all allow 30-foot high buildings, houses. And for the variance of the land area, sorry, land area to meet the density requirements. We have met 2 out of the 3 requirements that is set in the ordinance. One is the number of units per acre, which is allowed is 8, and we have provided only 6 per acre. And also, the ordinance mentioned that you need 400 square feet of landscaped area per unit, and which we have met as well. So, as per the ordinance, we need 2,000 square feet of land area for each room of over 80 square feet, which in most of our plans of the proposed development, it includes the living area as well. So depending on how you have partitioned the living area will affect the amount of land area required. So we have exceeded by the required land area by 0.26 acres, which I think if we don't have the living area considered in that calculation, we would be far less than the required. Thank you.
Okay. Is that it? You good?
Yep.
Okay. Will the city read the findings of fact, please?
For ZBA case 19-04, the appellant Iden Calabat of InStream PM owner is requesting the following from the board: a variance of 1 foot, 6.25 inches of building height for a proposed townhome development, 25 feet permitted, 26 feet, 6.25 inches proposed. A variance of 7.75 inches of building height for a proposed detached site condominium development, 25 feet permitted, 25 feet, 7.75 inches proposed, and a .22 acre variance of land area to meet density requirements for a proposed townhome development, 5.14 acres required, 4.92 acres provided, and please just note the bolded changes from the legal notice. The property is located at the northeast corner of Lasser Road and Dunscotus Street. Sidwell parcels 2427, 302, 040, 041, 043, and 044, zoned R1, single-family residential, and RT, attached single-family residential. Property to the north is zoned RT, attached single-family residential, and is developed with the Meadow Grove Villa condominiums. The properties to the west across Lasser Road are zoned R1 and RE, single-family residential, and are developed with single-family homes fronting Lasser Road. The properties to the south across Dunscotus Street are zoned R1, single-family residential, and are also developed with single-family homes fronting Dunscotus Street. The properties to the east are zoned R1, single-family residential, and are developed with single-family homes fronting both Dunscotus and McClung Streets. The site contains 6.92 acres of land. It should be 4.92 acres of RT and 2.04 acres of R1, with 179 feet of frontage on Lasser Road, 627.98 feet of frontage on Dunscotus Street, and a depth of 400 feet. The proposed site plan, actually the approved site plan indicates the construction of 8 multifamily buildings containing 30 condominium units on the north portion of the site, which is the RT zoning, and 9 detached site condominiums fronting Dunscotus Street, which is part of the R1 zoning. In the RT attached single-family residential district, density requirements are determined as follows: 2,000 square feet of land area is required per room of 80 square feet or more. The entire RT portion of the development proposes a total of 112 rooms over 80 square feet within the 8 buildings at 2,000 square feet of land area required per room, thus requiring the 5.14 acres. All 3 model types of the multifamily townhomes are proposed to exceed the 25-foot maximum permitted height as indicated. Due to the design of the townhomes, 1-story versus 2-story with varying peaks and gables, only certain portions of the roof line will exceed the 25-foot height permitted. Regarding the detached site condominium development fronting Dunscotus Street, 3 models are being proposed of various heights and designs, 2 colonials and 1 ranch. 2 of the 3 model types will exceed the 25-foot permitted maximum height. The location and quantity of specific model types, however, will not be chosen until each unit is sold. Similar to the townhomes, the 2 models will only have certain sections of the roof line that exceed the 25-foot height requirement.
Okay, thank you. Do you agree with those facts? Okay.
Yep.
Anything you'd like to add?
No.
No? Okay. Will the city read the recommendation, please?
Staff's recommendation is to approve based upon the following. The .22 acre density variance requested is minimal in nature and will not have adverse effects on surrounding properties. The developer could build the same size and number of buildings with 5 less interior rooms total and still be in compliance with the zoning ordinance. However, the market demand is for mostly 4-room units consisting of 3 bedrooms and 1 combination great room kitchen. The height variances requested are also minimal in nature and will not have adverse effects on the surrounding properties. There will not be a noticeable difference or impact on the open space or light, especially since only portions of the roof line will exceed the 25-foot requirement. Because there's a similar townhome project existing to the north abutting the newly proposed townhomes, and there will be an average of 85 feet between the fronts of the new site condominiums and the existing single-family homes on the south side of Dunscoda Street.
Okay, thank you. Anything else to add right now? No. Okay, sure. Just state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Jamal Calabat. I'm a developer, and I have developed several projects in city of Southfield. One of them was the Public Creek on 12 Mile and Northwestern. Over 70 homes we did there, and we got a 100-unit condominium on Villas of Southfield on 9 Mile and Southfield Road. So we are attempting to develop this site, and there are some restrictions because of the ordinance or the requirements are, I think they're kind of old requirements specifically for the height of the homes. We faced the same thing when we developed the other project, that the height of the homes cannot be really 25 feet. So because of the sizes of the home, they are a little larger. The roof pitch are more, architecturally pleasing. The minimum requirement of the pitch nowadays is 612, and we are providing a 712 pitch, so it's not very steep. Most of the cities are a 30 feet minimum, and most of the homes can fit within 30 feet. So that's
Maximum, you mean?
Maximum, I'm sorry. So that requirement is, we have dealt with it in other projects, and we obtained the same kind of approval to go with the higher elevations. As far as the density requirement, again, is the third requirement of the calculation of the density is kind of hardship to the other requirement. If we calculate the density on the other requirement, we are putting less unit per the requirement on the other calculation, while you come into the sizes of the room per square foot, that where the requirement kind of go backwards on that because of the design of the homes in today's market is a little bit more open space and more larger rooms. So all these rooms, because they are open and this, they're going to have to meet that type of calculation. So, but we meet the other two requirements very easily. So I just want to point that out. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll open it up to public comment. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this case? Seeing none, we'll close public comment and open it to the board. Oh, I'm
Sorry,
not public comment,
I
but
just
staff.
wanted to keep the appellant up here for a minute. Our information, just want to make sure this is clear for the record, because our information shows InStream PM as the appellant and Aiden Calabat is the authorized person.
Well, I didn't have an emergency. He's out of town. He's my son, and he handles all the design and requirements.
Yeah, I just want to make, so is there somebody here who's an agent or someone of InStream PM? Because who's authorized, again, is InStream PM, and Aiden Calabat is who's authorized to make the appeal by Salam Calabat.
Well,
So I just want to make sure that I have, if we grant an appeal, it has to be,
To
I
the
mean, if you'd
request.
like to look at this, you
I'm one
can.
of the owners of the InStream.
You are, okay.
And I'm also one of the owners of the Calabat Engineering.
Okay, well, the Calabat Engineering isn't anywhere on the approvals
Right, so
of this
they are
stuff.
the
But if you
designer.
are, I just want to clear that up on the record, that you are a office of
I'm
In-Stream
the
PM?
vice president and CEO
Of In-Stream PM, great. I just wanted to have that on the record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will open it up to the board. Mr. Bussell?
I do have a couple of questions. These plans in this packet, were these specifically for this project? Were these plans for these three types of dwellings specifically for this project, or were these designed prior for other projects and adapted,
No, those plans are designed for that project.
this project? So on the drawings, and I'm looking at drawings A11 through A20, 21. Are these for, is A11 for the triplex? What is A11 for? Because it's not, it just says front and rear elevations, but it doesn't say which type of building.
Duplex from the,
Okay, I see the Townhouse A and Townhouse B previously, but what is A11?
It's for the triplex.
It is for the triplex?
Yes.
Okay, and then the subsequent ones, like A12, A14, A15, are these for the condos, for the condos that are alongside Duns Scotus?
okay, let me just explain. I think you got a site plan over there. There's, in our project, we have a 30-unit condo, attached condo. Some buildings are 3-unit building.
Right.
Some buildings are 4-unit building.
Right.
And adjacent to that, along Duns Park, we have a site condo, not attached condo,
Correct.
which they are single-family homes, detached or site condo. So they are individual homes.
Right, that's what I was asking, if
Right.
these drawings were for those
For the
attached
condos, both of them, they
that are on
need that
Duns
variance.
Scotus. Okay, so were you aware of the zoning ordinance about maximum roof height before the design was made?
What's the question?
Were you aware of the maximum roof height before the designs were done?
Yes,
But you designed them in exceeding of the maximum anyway?
well,
So you
because,
formed your own hardship doing that. You realize that you made your own hardship. The hardship is that if you can't design them to be fitting within the maximum, but you even admitted on 2 previous projects that you purposely designed higher than the maximum and sought a waiver, and now you're doing it a 3rd time.
I don't know if that purposely is a right word.
Intentionally.
When an architect design a unit,
Yeah.
he goes by the width of the building and all that, he fits it in the site, then he comes in and build the elevation of it, and he choose a pitch of that roof, 712 pitch, and that's what determines the height of the house. It's not designed by a purpose. It is the results of that design.
Okay, I understand that. I guess, Miles, so I'll repeat my question again. Did you realize that when you were designing these structures, in the design process, that you were going to exceed the maximum height? Yes or
You
no?
could design it shallow roof and you could meet
Okay,
that.
so you intentionally designed them in excess of the maximum height?
So I don't know what that intentionally is. It's more architecturally pleasing. When you have a steeper pitch, it's going to give you a better look for the unit. We have never did a 512 pitch on a home. Never. I have never built a 512 pitch. I don't think you, as a homeowner, would you like to have a 512 pitch. That's what it's going to require.
That's called a bib roof. It's not uncommon.
It is very uncommon in today.
Maybe it's uncommon with the style that you designed, I understand, but I guess
I'm
you
not
don't
gonna
want to answer the
argue-
question,
I'm not
I
gonna
understand.
argue that.
I think I have my answer. I'm not in support of the waiver.
Okay, any other questions?
No.
No. Mr. Rogers?
The times are changing. I do realize that architectural designs change through time, and sometimes things have to change with that. In this regard, the roof, I don't think a structure that's under, that's 26, 27 feet versus 25 feet is a big deal from my perspective. I do understand what Mr. Bussel's asking, however, but at the same time, I don't think it's an issue. Something that's over 30 feet, yes, but when you start getting between 25, 26, 27 feet off the grade, it's not a big deal when you're looking at a structure from afar. Regarding the lot coverage for the amount of units and stuff, I don't think that's a big deal either. I think you're compromising by doing 6 units per instead of 8, because you don't have the full acreage, but that's not a big deal. I'm actually excited to see a residential project in Southfield. It's been 20 years, in my opinion, where there's actually been bustling residential construction, and maybe this is a start of something again. I don't understand why this is always in Southfield, where residential homes get built for 10 years, new houses, and all of a sudden there's a 20-year gap next time it happens. So in that regard, I'm excited that something like this is going on. I remember when the south side of Duns Scotus was built in the mid-90s, and I wondered what was going to happen to this north side property for all these years, and here we are. Now I know. So I'm in favor of it across the board. I don't see a problem with any of these variances. That's just my opinion.
Okay. So, yeah, I know, I guess, a little bit about the history of these vacant lots, and I know they've been undeveloped for, unfortunately, too long. I would have a concern if the whole roof was over the 25 feet, but the fact that only certain parts of it exceed the height is kind of where I'm a little bit more lenient, and I agree if it was closer to 30, I'd be more concerned, but an inch or a foot and a half isn't as concerning to me. But as I said at the beginning of the meeting, you will need all 3 of us to agree in order to gain a waiver. So even a 2-to-1 vote is not, your waiver would not be granted. But I think, did I have another, I feel like I had a question for the city. No, I'm good. Do you want to make a motion, Mr. Rogers?
Well, hold on
Okay.
for a minute here.
Okay.
I just don't want you to, I want you to understand where I'm coming from, is that you're developing in the city. It's a well-known ordinance. It seems like you're creating your own hardship. I understand the architectural effect that you're looking to achieve. And, and perhaps maybe the ordinance needs to be changed.
That was my question.
Yeah.
Thank you for mentioning that. Has there been discussions about this being an issue and raised to council to change this height?
I know there's been discussions on that. I think one thing that, I'm sorry, through the chair to the board as a whole, one thing you have to look at, one of the reasons height restrictions like that are put into effect is so that they match in existing neighborhoods. So if you have infill lots that you don't have, John, I think, this is just my opinion, that perhaps the ordinance could be crafted a little better that dealt with, non-infill lots, dealt with newer ones so that it matches in harmony with it, but like Mr. Rogers says, a foot and a half between that and another 2-story colonial that might be, 200 foot down the road in another complex, but I do think there is validity to the 25-foot requirement within existing neighborhoods, because what you're going to have is Bigfoot houses in the middle of the neighborhood, so I think that's kind of where they went, since it's pretty much a well-developed area, but I really think that maybe they should discuss some sort of changes that would allow for a new development, maybe, some kind of allowance to allow the height to go up to be higher, because Mr. Calvet is correct. I mean, most modern communities absolutely are higher. However, I do also understand the point of Mr. Bussell that it is a self-created hardship. There's no other way around to state it. It's self-created, and self-created means you created it, you knew what the height was, and you created it on your own. But, you know, with the lack of the fact that the ordinance has been changed or has been looked at, this is really the appellant's only means of relief here, other than seeking ordinance changes to the height. This is the only means the appellant has, and really, it's a good means somewhat because it gets people to look at it, look at the surrounding area, and say, hey, you know what? Well, another 1.5 feet. It's not inside a neighborhood with all 25-foot or less houses. So it kind of gets you guys as a board to look at it and say, I think it makes sense. It's not in an existing neighborhood. It's a brand-new one. It's really not that much. So, I mean, you're acting as the person who's going to do that in lieu of having an ordinance change.
Right. And there is, I mean, a small ranch down Duns Scotus that, you know, will look dwarfed by this development. I mean, I think there's some woods there. I don't know if those are your woods or if that's on their property line, but I would hope that those would be maintained to, again, create a little bit of a barrier, you know, between your, you know, if we grant this waiver, this lovely new large development in their, you know, small 1960s ranch, right? I mean, that's kind of the fun.
I just want to add that not all the units are exceeding that. There's only few units that they are, because they are 2-story high units, and then they are fully,
And some of them will
Both
depend
sides.
on what the
yeah, so,
purchaser
and,
wants to
when you look at
build,
the
right?
roof,
No, those are the models.
the roof line, you know, there's some low, some this, where only the high one is where they are exceeding. You know, like this area and this area from the whole area
Right.
because of the nature
Right, that's why I was
of that unit.
supportive, right, right. It's not like the entire thing, it's just certain places.
Well, there's a
Where it
variance in
rises.
every structure. I mean, every structure exceeds the height.
When you say truss system,
Every
Every option.
everything is a
Right,
truss
your
system.
townhome
All the
A,
roof is truss.
townhome B, triplex, and then the site condos all exceed 25 feet.
I thought Sarah said
No,
they
all-
don't all,
No,
Looks like they do.
just,
only 2 of the 3.
Well,
if I might, through the chair to Mr. Bustle, I don't believe they included the ranch model because it didn't exceed it. I don't know, I don't believe that the elevations are indicated of the ranch model. They have-
most of the structures on the site plan exceed.
all of the condominiums on the northern portion, but the detached, there are 3 models. They don't know which ones are gonna be chosen yet, but I believe they only included the Model 1 and Model 3, which are both the colonials, and the Model 2 is the ranch, which they didn't even include in these elevations, so we don't
Right.
even see it.
Yeah, mostly the single homes are the one that exceeding.
In the absence of public comment, nobody else was complaining about it.
Right.
I think we should table this to another meeting. I think we should allow them to hear it
Other
from the
people
entire
to
board.
Step in.
Yep, this way they don't lose
Okay.
their appeal.
All right, so we have a motion to table to our next meeting. Do we have a date on the next meeting? No, what would be our next meeting? April,
I'm sorry, I missed that. We're going to table this?
well, we're
again?
discussing. There's
This way it doesn't get
A motion that's been
flat out
made to
denied,
table it.
and it gives other board members an opportunity to vote on it.
So then, so normally in a tabling, since we've heard the whole case, okay, we obviously haven't even put a vote forth, but do you, so
right,
is there
because we wouldn't be
additional?
able to table after we
Right,
voted.
right. So is there additional information that you guys want from us, maybe, to provide you?
No, I think there's more opinions to be had by a full board.
Yeah, I don't think we can do that.
Could you maybe also need the stuff on the single-story heights too? If we could get you the drawings on that too, that would help you with your deliberation?
I see
To
what
see
you're
where those might be located?
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay, so if you could provide them through the chair to the appellant, provide them some of the drawings on the single-story units too, just so they can see them? You know, the ranch style?
You mean eliminate the 2-story homes? Is that what you said?
No. just show him the options, the other options that haven't been presented, so that they'll know that there'll be a mix of the higher ones and the lower ones, so he could see the lower ones, if you could provide that to us if they're going to table this to another meeting?
You want us to identify which?
Sure. You don't have, we just want to see them, and then, so that we can see that there will be a mixture of them and what the other ones will look like.
We only have the ones that have exceeded 25.
No.
We only have that. They want to see the ones that are less than 25 as well, right?
So is that April 2nd? Is that the next meeting?
April 9th?
April 9th, okay. Yes, that's a Tuesday. Okay, so are you making a motion to table it to April 9th?
I'd like to make a motion to table this vote until April 9th, until there's more information available on the other structures.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, so we will, with additional information, rehear your case on April 9th.
I'm not clear about the additional information.
Okay, well, I think your colleague knows what additional information we're looking for. Okay, so.
And if, through the chair, if you have any questions, you can give me a call in the office tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. So that's the end of the public hearing. We now have some minutes to review. I would say, yeah, let's hold on to this case.
Yeah, if you could hold on to the case
Sure.
material so we can put it back in.
Okay, so we'll start with December 4th, 2018. This book here, I have a feeling that's why Mr. Wygum didn't join us.
I think they're about the same.
He's still reading these minutes. Did anybody come across any changes?
I could barely make it through.
I didn't find any
Yeah,
changes,
I didn't-
okay?
I didn't see anything.
Okay, no, I didn't see anything substantial. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for Tuesday, December 4th, 2018?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, January 15th. Another set of minutes, oh, and, yep, okay. Anybody find anything on January 15th?
Nothing that stuck out.
Okay. Anything there? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the minutes for January 15th, 2019?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then a smaller set for Tuesday, February 19th, 2019. Any changes on those? No? Okay, may I have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I think the quickest we've ever approved 3 sets of minutes. I like it. All right, looks like there is a request to cancel the next meeting.
Correct. If I might, to the chair, we have a lack of cases. However, we do have quite a few cases for the meeting after that in April.
Okay, so April 9th is going to be a
Correct.
heavy case, or heavy
Yes.
night, okay? Can I have a motion to cancel the meeting for March 19th, 2019?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we will adjourn and be back here on April 9th.
Motion to adjourn?
Oh, can I have a motion to adjourn? That's really funny. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.